Hi everyone. Today this is my first game dev conference, and I'm really nervous and excited to standing this stage. Thanks to the host for introducing me, but I still want to get to know you better. In my past life, I led product development and was responsible for the grow products in B2B SaaS with a high load and a crowd of developers. My biggest developers team was 150 people, and the biggest product involved 400 people. After that, I was a product developer at Xsola. Hi. And now I'm working at a startup called Megamod, and as an advisor, I'm helping other startups grow faster. And our super CEO, Megamod.
Thanks, Klavdia. So organizers gave us the 30 additional minutes, so that's why I decided to join Klavdia and to tell you a little bit more about the Megamod, so what we're doing, and so a little bit more about our history. So first of all, so welcome on the DevGAMM. Thank you that you decided to come to our presentation. And why an interesting thing about me is that I was the first guy who made the Happy Farm game in Europe with the 80 million players, and 10 of them, so 10 million players, were playing our games every day. So we also been the largest game developer in the Nasza Klasa. I guess if you're from Poland, you know this network. We were also #1 in Germany in Studio VZ and many other social networks. So we were the #1 in Europe except the Facebook. So yeah. Today we will talk about the UGC. Do someone here in the audience know what is the UGC? 1, 2, 3. So, and why did you come here? So guys, just wondering, because if you don't know what is the UGC, so it's strange to spend some time here. So the most important thing about the UGC, just go ahead, is that you could do the production like 200 times, 300 times cheaper than you will do that inside your team. So that's all about money, one side, and another one thing, you could scale that thousands times faster. So if you know, for example, the TikTok or YouTube Shorts or any other type of the products, so you understand that that thing could be useful for you and helpful. And also, if you do some UGC stuff right now, it also could help you to attract the VCs. So attract you some money, some investment, so that could be helpful. Klavdia, go ahead, yeah?
Okay. Also, we talk about creators and content creation using Megamod as an example. Let me tell you what Megamod is. Okay, Megamod is an engine for creating mini-games. We have a tool that lets you create gameplay, a tool for making props, a tool for creating skins. So far, each mini-games, you can make your unique elements and then use to build a whole world, level, and so on. In our engine, there is no coding at all, just dragging and dropping, copying, scaling elements. The video shows how level building happens. And in our first phase of development, we learned to create content and build our network of creators. Last year, we onboarded 1,300 creators. After training and selection, we got a creator network where 200 people work every day in CIS and Southeast Asia. And we know how to scale this network to different regions. And every week, our network of creators makes 1,000 mini-games. In less than a year, they have created 20,000 mini-games. The cost of one gameplay is $6.6. It is direct cost. And the total cost of this work from the beginning, including marketing expenses, was $40,000. From these numbers, two conclusions can be drawn. The price per content unit is low. But starting a UGC process needs a huge budget. Okay, let's now talk about why, even though it needs a big budget to keep UGC process going, many companies try to start them.
Yeah, so let's get back to the history a little bit. So if you know what is the internet, and get back to the 2010, so all the payouts worldwide to the creators, so some people who do something into the internet and try and earn some money, was the 800 million. So it seems to be like a big number, but if you divided it into the millions of the creators, it would be a small number. So that was the beginning of the story. But in 2021, the amount of the payouts for the creators was 10.5 billion. So in 2022, double numbers. And what has happened in the world? So the most important thing that everything that is happening right now is moving to the point of the legalization. What does it mean? If you know the legal, so legalization means that the requirements for people who are trying to create something becomes cheaper and cheaper, and someone started to creating tools just to have the less requirements for the people, just to create the content and create games and to create videos and to create some content cheaper, 200 times cheaper than you could even imagine. So that's why the UGC, everything that is concerning the AI and to make the production cost low, so means a lot and could help you a lot. So go ahead.
Okay, yes. Companies want to build a product with a new business model where the content is not made by the company, but by users themselves, and other users buy it. You earn money from some transaction within the network or from advertising or anything else you can come up with and implement. And on a large scale, you earn more than you could with your own production. But that's not only reason to start UGC processes in a company. Let's imagine you are already production something, for example, marketing materials. If you are a publisher or mobile studio that does it marketing, creative works, YouTube and TikTok videos, or playable ads, you can build a UGC process in your company and reduce the cost of this production. Okay, or maybe the cost of production is fine for you, but you need to produce more, and hiring that many people is difficult or long and expensive in the long run. Then UGC can help you solve the two problems. Look at the balance direct cost and overhead cost for UGC process in our example. In this example, it is important to note that it's illustrated content production that doesn't require serious hard skills. For instance, if you need to create design and shoot video, you can train people with video tutorial. And anyone with a computer, internet, and test will do. After that, choose the best, and the creator network will manage itself. But if you need to teach people to code, then you have to choose more expensive specialists and spend a long time setting them up for your tasks. In the summary, launching UGC allow us to get a production process that reproduced almost without your participation. The size and cost of your participation will be limited by the complexity of the content and therefore by the cost of recruitment and training time. Let's assume you have decided that your company needs a UGC process, and let's talk about how to start and manage it. Okay, look, you have a game, and you are used to thinking of it as a product. But actually, and this is a very important first point, your creator network is also a separate product. Since it's a separate product, it must have its own structure, including a management structure. This is an architecture in which it lives and involves its own team, just like you have a developers team. You also need a team that manages the creator network, the size and qualification of this team. And the tools they use will determine the overhead cost of creating and managing the network. The creator network is also a kind of team. They need motivation, control, and opportunities for growth, learning, and development. And to start the UGC process, you will have to invest money into it, just like any product. That's why you need to understand what you are investing in and how much. And to evaluate the performance of your product, you need metrics to follow, and legal part will remain outside of this discussion. And although it is a very important element for scaling UGC process. But we won't talk about it today because in our examples we have simplified things quite a bit. If anyone interested, come find me later. I can tell you a bit more private.
Hundreds of companies trying to use the UGC just if they know that they got their own community. So it seems that it's very simple process. So you got the community, you got some people that ready and want to do some contribution into your product, and you could do some UGC. That's not working like this, because if you're trying to do that with the community, so the launch of the UGC production, so like 99% will be unsuccessful. So, and we see there are hundreds of examples of that. So if you're thinking about the launch in UGC, you need to think about that you're just trying to build the army. So it's the hierarchy inside, there is the strict rules, you understand what every person needs to do, and so they go in by the strict rules and move forward directly just by the rules that you put inside the system.
Yeah, on the slide in the structure of Megamod network, it consists of two parts. The management structure, what's inside the company, and the structure network of the creator network is outside. Inside the company, the network development team has three levels. The development director responsible for the network development strategy, payment economics, and making different types of motivation aligned with each other. The network developer manager responsible for communicating with the network, ensuring the quality of the network performance, and training the first leaders and creators. Their task is to make the creator network produce the highest quality content possible. Okay, and account manager responsible for basic processes such as recruiting and hiring, paying creators, keeping all creators informed about changes. It's account managers you will scale up as the network grows. In this stage, our creators network is a two-tiered face-to-face consisting of creators who create games and leaders who manage a team of creators, onboard and train beginners and responsible for their team's performance. A leader has from 5 to 15 creators in their team, and leader can also continue to create games themselves. Okay, let's dive deeper into the structure of the creator network. Looking at the picture, you can see a lot of little pyramids. Whoa, I'm sorry. Okay, a lot of little pyramids. And here is a good moment to joke. That is our UGC process look like Oriflame or something M&M's network.
Do anyone try to use the Herbalife here or the Oriflames or get some friends that they were trying to sell you something? So that's not about this. I'm seriously, yes. So because in the world there is two types of the networks. So one of them named the agent networks, and the networks based on the commission. So they basically building these networks when you got some insurance, I mean the insurance for the life insurance. So, and the network of the UGC is exactly the same as you build the life insurance network. And the guys who sell the Herbalife or Oriflame, so they name the commission network. So it means for these guys, the only one thing matters, that they will invite your friends and get some money from your friends and get the commission. So the difference is that on the networks that being based as far as the insurance and that type, product means. In the commission networks means only the money for the creators. And so that is the difference. That's why we took the agency model of the network and built it with the UGC.
Yes. We were looking for an approach, for mixed approaches that would allow us to scale the creator network quickly while ensuring high quality and proper relationship within, and we didn't to lose any critical process for functioning. We compared the approach in MLM to agency and franchising business. And it turned out that design agency network, just like in a well-organized corporation, 4 types of motivation are planned from the start. First one, it is the key motivation. It's like the law of the jungle and the main driver that qualifies future networks. Sets basic rules for resolving all conflict, and it becomes an internal voice agreement that can't be broken, because otherwise the network would fall apart. And to understand how key motivation works, let's take a closer look at McDonald's and Oriflame. Essentially, this is 2 very vivid examples of MLM, and franchising businesses. And here you can immediately see the key difference. Of course, people who come to work in this network are motivated by money. But MLM network, including Oriflame, are so motivated by money that it's most beneficial for network members to just bring in new participants and earn from how much money the next layer invests. This characteristic is often why MLM is disliked. The path from money to money is so short that attentive network members quickly figure out how to hack the system by all possible. Thus, MLM network participants are often not focused on developing the network and promoting products, but engaged in internal struggle for a limited amount of money. On the other hand, at McDonald's franchises, the motivation is completely different. People come there to build their own business. It's their restaurant, their own piece of a big business. And here, the key motivation, this is my own. I'm creating a big personal story, and in return, I get recognition and non-alienable property. This approach supports collaboration among participants, a desire to pick at the neighbors' best practice and bring them back home. It results in healthy competitions and exchange of experience, but you can just take over the entire restaurant from your neighbor. For our creator networks, we choose the key motivation similar to McDonald's. We carefully protect the creator ownership rights to their content and leaders' right to their teams and creators. And later, I will talk more about how we use these principles to scale the network.
Just some additional example to how you could use the Oriflame model. So, and you could see that and you could find out it on the market. So, for example, when it was the hype of the NFTs, most of the referral programs of selling and making the pre-sales was the model of the Oriflame. So you got your friends, so you will sell them the NFTs, you invite your friends, you got the commission, so that's how it works. No one worries about the product. Okay.
In addition to key motivation, now let's look at the long-term and medium-term motivation for your creator networks. Long-term motivation is a big idea about your common future, which you manage to sell to your community. In this case, we use the trend of kids dreaming to become streamers, influencers, and someone else. You can also use it while it works. As for medium-term motivation for a network, and first one, it's recognition. You need to highlight achievements of different members of community. Second one, training, of course. You need to give tools and opportunities for learning from successful people. And community, you need to create a place where all people can exchange their skills and achievements.
Go ahead.
Okay. Which everyone else in the network, you can basically do anything as long as cool leaders love you and you take care of them and do it publicly.
Yeah, an interesting thing here is that when we start thinking, are there a lot of people in the world that are trying to create games? So we were surprised that there is a huge amount of people. So most of them, so 1 year, when you just get to this world, so most of our children, so they want to create game. So they trying to do that. After that, some time passes, so and we get someone who become the professional in the industries, and you are the happy one. So, but 95% of the people who wanted to create games, so they didn't get ability to do that. So they didn't become the professionals, and most of them so couldn't just find an opportunity to get to the industry. And when we were answering the question, so where we will find the creators who will create games? So the most interesting thing that we find them as the people who finish some courses of the game design. And after 3 months, after 6 months, they even couldn't find the opportunity to find any kind of job about the games. So it's like the closed industry and you couldn't find an opportunity to realize yourself. And when we told them, guys, we will pay you $6 per game. So we get 100 people in a line who would like to join us. So, and that's happening in all of the markets. So, and we get the millions of people who just want to create games or to create something and being paid. But the most important thing here is that if you're not paying at all, so you didn't find anyone because they understand that you don't have any responsibilities in that. But if you pay a little bit, so you get like thousands and millions of people. And afterwards you could pay more. And the most interesting thing that Klavdia will tell us at the end, that the most surprising for us was that it's not only about the creating the games. When we come back and say, so we thinking that maybe you will do some marketing for us, because we don't want to use the performance marketing. We don't want just to go to the Facebook or to the Google and just write them the check and so spend all our resources. Maybe you could just do some videos for the TikTok and for the YouTube shorts, and we will pay you 25 cents per video. And they said, we are happy. And we just get the tons of millions of the promotion. So, and that means, so when you get this army, when you get these creators, you got potentially a very strong network that you could just scale up just 10 times, 100 times, it doesn't matter. You just need to get some money to do this. And that's the important thing about this. Yep.
Okay, when launching a UGC process in a product or company, essentially we promise creators that they will make money, possibly a lot of money, and indeed money is a critical factor to kickstart the content creation. There are two different strategies: to design monetization and a structure for creators earning based on the company's revenue. This way suits those looking for new business models, but it requires you to convince creators from day one that your business model is better than competitors. And second way, it's to start paying for content immediately out of your own budget. So we decided to test how the creator network would launch if we just paid them for the games they made. The payment process went like this. We pay each creator $6 for each gameplay of at least 3 minutes, approved by leader. The time to create such content is about 6 hours for new creators and 4 hours for experienced people. Payment is made only to those creators who have earned $100, meaning they have made at least 17 games. The cost of mini games can vary depending on its length. For example, when we needed shorter gameplays, we agreed with creators to pay $1 for 30 seconds mini games. In your case, you can adjust this cost based on your statistics and economics. To calculate the initial figure, we simply based it on the average salary of shop assistants in a medium-sized city and decided to test whether we could offer young people without special education to work with us rather than its nearest IKEA.
Some more interesting facts. So when we start making the network of the creators, first of the thing that we being test, so we needed to make the props, so the 3D models that the users afterwards will create games. And the first thing when we get to the market, the first offer for the creators, young creators, and the editor was very similar to the Minecraft, so we came to the users of the Minecraft, was we will pay you $1 per model. So we find some creators, they start making the models, and we see, okay, that works. But after 2 weeks, we decided maybe $1 is too big. So what will happen if we will pay 10 cents? And the most interesting thing that we were thinking rationally that we will get the less number of people who want to create something, create the 3D models. But we got 5 times more people who wanted to create. And the interesting thing was that when we came to this offer for these kind of the players, creators, so they were thinking that $1 is unreal. It's too high. So that's why when you do some work with the creators, as far as the price of the unit, it depends upon the country, first of all, from one side, and also it depends upon how much they think this work needs being paid. Yeah, and another one thing, so when we start paying the $6 right now, we paying for the smaller game $1, and it also works perfect. Thank you.
Yes, the leader creator earns 20.5% of the creators' income in their teams. Plus, the leader creators can continue making games themselves and earn as a creator. Okay, the network scales along with the leaders. Now, leaders know scaling. To have new leaders, current leaders must teach them and let them go. To encourage current leaders to teach new leaders, network use spin-offs. For each new leader, the current leader receives a payout calculated according to the formula. Lead spin-off and percent fee of lead, multiply income per month from creator, multiply lifetime. But in large networks, the spin-off is calculated annually. But if the lifetime is much less than a year, you can take revenue from take creator for 2 or 4 months, which is also okay. This approach motivates the lead to grow a new one and allows them not to worry that someone will be taken from them. Okay. We have covered positive motivation and decision-making logic. Now let's talk a bit about what's essential for achieving production quality. Unfortunately, no matter how much we pay and how well we motivated people with achievements and development, property of any network is that there will always be those who try to nothing and development who try to nothing and earn by hacking the system. Therefore, firing people who perform badly is a necessary part of the process. We systematically dismiss creators who underperform. Besides the team leader being responsible for quality, we also randomly review content made by creators. If we find poor quality content, that a leader has accepted, we start to inspect the team more closely. If we are satisfied with the team's overall quality, it's a reason to have a talk and possibly part ways with the leader and their entire team. This approach is similar to McDonald's quality, allowing it to be the same worldwide. If you have the ability to get metrics for your content, like the numbers of video views, the numbers of click from creatives, and etc., you can choose not to pay for content that falls below a certain threshold. And if a creator's metrics are lower than their colleagues, automatically dismiss this creator from the network. We do exactly this with creators who make video creatives for us and post them on TikTok and YouTube. And it's important to note that we don't publish advertising content from our account, so we don't worry about account blocking for violating rules. The advertising content is published by network participants. So poor quality content and the publisher's account blocking and their problem, not the product's problem. Okay, when the network gets bigger, there are some tricks that people who know MLM will use. One trick is to create level. Like this, like freeze level for creators. On the slide, you can see that how much you get paid for each piece from content is different for each level. It depends on how much a creator makes and how good their works. And similarly with creators grade, little grades can work too. To implement grades, you need moderation and quality rating. And here comes the second technique. The work of moderation and quality assessment can be done by the network participants themselves. For example, we are currently experimenting with having creators and leaders test mini gameplays and evaluate the results. The MVP process is simply set up in a Telegram channel where all the games are dropped, creators, participant, and recording playing, and rate the results mini-game. We don't try to limit content copying on purpose. If someone learns to copy high-quality content quickly and replicate it, it will be great. However, if you need serious QA and moderation, you will need to create a separate part of the network where people will review and check content and earn based on the numbers of issues found.
So most of the people who are not looking for the UGC or stop thinking about the UGC, they're thinking that their own inside team will create the things very quality. So, but the quality, the pricing, and to make some memes or to make some real hits, you need a lot of content. So, because if you don't make the huge number of content, so there is no chance for you to make some hit or to make some memes. Yep.
Okay. Globally, we are interested in two things. The recruitment funnel, its performance affects the network growth and the presence of people who can create content, and the amount of content produced and the cost. Another important factor in the evaluating the network, which will affect the cost when scaling, is the creator's lifetime. For us, growing in the network is just like hiring. So we use a similar funnel, keeping an eye on each stage. Let me tell you why it's turned out this way. When we launched our engine, we knew that even without programming, future creators still needed to learn how to use the product. And no tutorial would help here. Our first experiments with onboarding and recruitment were through streamers, trying to attract a very young audience. We had a couple of fun cases, but it didn't work systematically. So we tried a different approach. Since we are paying creators, anyway, we thought of recruiting creators into our UGC process as hiring. See, we learned to find people in the market who dream of working in games development, but lack the hard skills, and therefore the industry doesn't hire them. And this hypothesis worked 100%. We got our first great creators simply by going to online schools that teach game design and asking them to give us their graduates. It turns out motivated, great guys find it very hard to get a job in game development. Even after training, now job ads on job search platform performs the best in terms of incoming application, and this approach works well in both the CIS and the Philippines with similar results. Essentially, how many new applications we can get depends on our advertising budget and the numbers of leaders ready to onboard and train new creators. Let's look closely at the application process. Okay, it is very easy. We post a job ad and on career site. We receive incoming application directly through the site. Next, we contact everyone who applied. In the message, we try to answer all other asked questions and schedule a first short call. Then a 50-minute call with the candidate to discuss any question. We move everyone who agrees into Notion. At this point, the work for us as network owner ends. All this work is done by a network account processing 300 applications a month. The salary of such an employee is $200 a month. So processing on application costs us up to $1. Okay. After an application is processed, it goes into Notion. From there, leaders pick up all new candidates to perform onboarding. For a long time, onboarding was our biggest problem. The two funnel explains show significant difference. Now we have a video training for creators. Leaders can perfectly explain the work purpose during onboarding. Use all the above motivation logic. New leaders are trained to perform onboardings and make sure a leader does it perfectly. Since we are not limited by complex hard skills, we don't have a learning stage, but there is a test tasks. We also face challenge here for a long time because, like in any hiring process, people find it hard to do tests without a granted result. We tried removing the test altogether, but it was a mess. The leader then spent a lot of time firing everyone who can't work. We tried paying for the test task right away, but micropayment don't scale. There are no proper tools and legal scams to pay for test creatives. But right now, in our funnel, we come to ask for just 6 seconds of gameplay in the test task. Even such a small content size allows the leader to assess the creator potential. And then, in the 6 months, the percentage from incoming application to work increased from 7 to 22%. Such as a funnel is not shameful to scale, especially since ads on job search platform are not expensive. The cost of one ad is $10, and the cost one incoming application doesn't not exceed $1, is in a bad season, and normally doesn't not exceed 30 cents. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. The second metric is the amount of content. I have already shown you this chart of the amount of content being produced. In fact, it's the North Star metrics for creating network. We monitor it on a weekly, and if we see any decline, this is the alarm signaling something is going wrong, and we need to investigate urgently. But in any case, if we even see a slight drop in the amount of content being produced, it must have broken something. As I mentioned earlier, for networks producing more complex content, it's necessary to look not just at the content produced in general, but at the content produced with a certain quality rating, or at two chart. At the same time, to assess the difference between this chart. Okay, right now for managing and assessing the situation, we are good with funnels, the total numbers of activity creators and the volume of content. But as the network grows, the metrics will become less informative. So in our near plans is to learn how to calculate the lifetime of a creator. We want to understand how long a creator stayed with us, how much value they bring to the product, and how much they earn themselves. But speaking of recommendation, I would advise you to start calculating lifetime as soon as possible and prepare your data in a way that these metrics can be calculated automatically. Because the size of overhead cost critically depends on the length of lifetime. The longer the lifetime, the smaller this figure will be, as it can be spread over the full lifespan of the creator. Okay, the last super short story I'd like to share with you is about the not so obvious advantages of a creator network. Your network performs, grows, and is an important part of your business, and it can also help you run many experiments not related to the production of the main content. For example, once you have at least a few hundred creators, you can come to them and offer to make TikTok videos. Suggest some of the to stream. Creators are happy to take on new tasks, so you don't need to go out and hire new people again, figure out how to train them. You can create any content with your creators if you know how to motivate them properly.
An interesting thing, so also it's not impossible to do that inside in-house team. If you just need, for example, some new opportunity came to you and you need to make a new game for someone about, I don't know, some kind of new stuff. But you just go to the network and said them, okay, we need to make the new game about this, and you get like 200 games just in a few hours, and you could just take best of them and understand, so what is working, what is not. Yep.
It's finished.
Oh, we're done. So now we get the question session. So we will be happy to get the questions, and we also get some present to you for the best question.
Thank you for your presentation. My name is Ivan. I'm head of engineering at Lucid Reality Labs, and I have several questions, so stop me once it's time. Yeah. First of all, so we were talking about the project. Like, actually, you went on the overloaded, I would say, industry, overloaded by Roblox. So do you have any concurrent like advantages of your product?
Yeah, so the difference between us and Roblox, so what kind
features.
what kind of advantage we find out? So if you know what is the Roblox Studio, it's very similar to the Unity. And so it's very complicated. So if you are not experienced guys, so it's impossible for you to make some kind of game in Roblox. So our idea was just to find out some people in the Philippines or in India or any other part of the world, and just in a few hours get some content and get the games. So if you try to do something in Roblox, it will cost you at least like 20,000 K. So there is right now a lot of teams who are trying to do some kind of the content and get paid by the Roblox had been success in the Roblox, but from the 10,000 developers, only 100 do get some money back. So that's why we find out that our creators network and a very simple tool that allows everyone to create games is the biggest advantage.
Yeah, fair enough, thanks. The second question is about the huge amount of content that you're getting because of the easiness of getting there. So the new user comes to the app and gets like 20K of games already. How do you manage the easiness of entering the game and finding the right content that might fit his taste?
So that's a good question. So for us to build in such system was that to build the different parts and then split it together. So first of all, we build the factory. So we understand, so if we will not have the content, so our own like app store with the content, so there will not be ability for us to give a good content to the users, to the players. So that's why first step was building the factory. And to build the factory, we need some money just to invest in the creators. So that was the first point. And afterwards, we took the streamers on the YouTube and start giving this game to the streamers, and they just start streaming these games and play together with the users who come to the stream. And that allows us to understand, so what kind of content works better. So definitely we didn't get to the point of the TikTok or Shorts, just understanding what kind of content prefer this user. So we didn't get to this point, but we are going to launch the app in the nearest few weeks.
Okay, makes sense. And the last one, I guess, we were talking about investment mostly to the project, but could you mention some monetization plans? So how do you like earn money back to the company?
Yeah, so together with this guy, Dmitry, my co-founders here, and they're red. So we managed together the 200 million players together before and done a lot of as far as the monetization. So for us, the main goal right now for the product is just to get the retention and attention. So if we understand that the playtime and the retention is well, so we're thinking that there is like 100 different ideas for us how to get money from this user. So one of the ideas that we thinking that like a big deal, we're thinking that our players will be able to pay like 5 cents per hour just for the playing these games, just to support the creators. So another one thing, so we definitely will sell the skins, because right now, if you take a look for the Megamod, how it works, so no one inside there doesn't have the skin. Only the streamer got the skin. So that was also the idea, so to see the value for the users.
Yep, thanks.
Hi, thanks for your presentation, Alex Kuznetsov. So my question is, what do you recommend, one to do and one not to do when you start your creators network? Like, just key thing. If like, I would focus a little bit when you are starting it and going public. So when you are starting promoting it.
So from my point of view, so first of all, so you need to get enough budget to run this site, because just looks very simple, but there is a lot of magic and like 15 years before experience in the UGC of this guy. And just to launch it with the experience, we need at least 1 year to do this. So 1 year to pay the team, to make the different, to test the different hypotheses, so all that stuff. And only one thing why that matters, if you need this, is just if you need to get the 200, 300 times cheaper the content that anyone got. So that's the most important value. So because if you just need some amount of content, it will be much cheaper for you just to do some outsource or any other way. So for us, it's the key. So that's why we get here from this Web3 space. And when we were doing the Web3 space, we understand that the content, the amount of the content is the key. So if we will not solve this problem, if we couldn't make the game for $5, there is no way for us to survive. And the same thing with the marketing. So definitely when you start the system, it will be much more expensive than you will do that in the house. But if you want to scale that, so it will be hundreds times cheaper.
Hey, thanks for the presentation. Really cool looking slides. And I really like this army analogy for creators relationship. So my question is, what was your inspiration? How you came up with this system? And did you try some other approaches? Yeah, that's it.
So, there was different approaches, but from my side, so when I was talking with one of my friends who was running the agency network, and he was just managing 300,000 sale team in the Middle East. So I think I was talking with him and understand, okay, that seems to be the model, very simple, and no one before that take that type of the model to this market. And when we were trying to do any kind of business together with Dmitry and Klavdia, so we understand that if we will come, for example, for the mobile market right now to take a look for any opportunities, so there is no way for us. We been lost already because it's like the red ocean. So you need to be so professional that there is no big opportunities, I mean, big play. So like traditional AAA games, so also we don't have that type of the experience. The only two types of experience that we got was, my experience was building the social games, and I find out the opportunity of publishing these games all over the social networks and get hundreds of million players, okay. That means that I could see the new opportunities and could find out, again, something between the industries. And from this experience guy, we got the experience of getting the UGC done. So that's why we came to the market and understand. So what we could do, okay, let's make the games that everyone spend $5,000, let's make them for $5. So that was the starting point. And after that, we find out, so the interesting analytics was after the COVID, so the gaming industry starting losing the money. So the acquisition cost is growing and the revenue going down because the people just return back to do something, not only sitting at home and relaxing. And when we ask some of our guys who got the gaming companies with the revenue $500 million, so where do these people go? So where does this revenue go? They told us, okay, Alex, so the YouTube Shorts and the TikTok. So the people trying to get the dopamine just in other ways. So, and if you're trying to do something from our point of view, so it means that we need to find out how to make the games very simple and just to get to this market, because we don't have money for the performance marketing and we don't have a big experienced team to build some great games. So we definitely couldn't do that. But we could do the system, and we could build the system where the people could create the millions of games. So that's why we're here.
Cool, thank you.